It's your buddy, peace and harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, can I have a partial relationship with this female who I know, based on my experience with this female, I know that she is a sociopath. I can tell because of all the descriptors she fits it to a T. In other words, she engages in the hyper arousal, this sort of seductress that only a female sociopath or psychopath can do. So there's this alluring attraction, just like a fly on flypaper, feeling stuck and really glued in and highly charged, highly sort of amped up by this individual. Even if your intimacy is like off the charts, everything is super wild, there's a lot of pleasure, there's a lot of titillating conversations going on. And this individual though, however, this female sociopath has engaged in lying, boundary violation, just sort of some disrespectful behavior. And it's somewhat alarming, yet does, basically do the pros outweigh the cons? So I think that's a great viewer question. So we're going to zoom in and focus in on that, because I think a lot of viewers struggle with that question. Can I kind of have my cake and eat it too? In other words, can I enjoy the exciting, the roller coaster, the emotional windfall, the ups and downs, the high risk behavior, this sort of, living in a sort of the enigmatic speech where things are sort of always left hanging, left dangling. You don't know if you're in or you're out, but the jokes and the riddles and the enigmatic speech continue, what is known as basically narc speak, or word salad, the psychopath word salad. Basically, if you know how that rolls, basically it's statements and conversations that sort of come out of nowhere and make you turn your head and go, and you don't know whether to trust it or not trust it, but it's so, it comes off as so either intelligent or crafty or witty or arousing, or it turns you on and it makes you go, wow, this is like ongoing foreplay, just conversation with this person. In other words, they get you addicted. And so when you're dealing with someone who is a female sociopath, someone who uses a lot of charm, a lot of sort of seductress moves that are unlike anybody else. In other words, this person does things to you that nobody else does. And you want to sort of keep this going. You want to enjoy and have for yourself this sort of, this titillating, arousing part of the relationship, which is satisfying this addiction. Let's call it what it is. And, so there's always this question is, should I let this go? Can I handle it? In other words, it's so very indulgent, especially on the provocative side. There's a lot of provocative and evocative, dynamics that go with this type of individual. So it's very difficult to say, I want to let all that go. That, hair-raising discussion, that hair-raising conversation, those, things that they say that turn me on. This is just, it's so enjoyable to basically let go and lose control and let it all flow with this type of individual, this female sociopath. And despite information or your understanding that you've exposed to the contrary. In other words, this person is not in your best interest. They will lie, cheat, and put on a false persona and take and seduce you. But, you have to understand that when you're dealing with a female sociopath, oftentimes they are very asexual. This comes as quite a surprise to a lot of individuals, males and females alike, because we have same-sex viewers, but this individual is a gentleman. So, what you need to understand about someone who is a sociopath is oftentimes sex for them is asexual, meaning they don't really get attached, have a bond, a connection, a feel-good hormone that is connecting them to you. It is all a show. It is all just to allure and trap. It's all for the pleasure of the kill. It's all for the conquering for them to show their prowess and power. So when they get you to where they want you, you're going to find out, you're going to have at a crossroads, you're going to have some very unfortunate, unpleasant news that's going to be unequivocally, without a doubt, delivered to you within this relationship. And they're going to play with your mind. So you have to understand that someone who is truly sociopathic, psychopathic, even though on the exterior they are functional, they're highly intelligent, they have a mortgage, they know how to cook, it's not what you might consider your stigma of someone who is psychopathic, but the individual underneath is something very different than what you're getting, quote unquote, the good stuff. They will lead you through a labyrinth, a maze, a puzzle that's filled with exciting, hyper arousal, super erotic, super fantastic. You might say to yourself, everyone wishes they could have this. So you feel so special, so lucky. All of these feelings are what you're wondering if you can have in a partial relationship. In other words, can it be on my terms? You have to understand that what you are getting from this individual is not what's going on underneath. They do this to turn it on like they're turning on a light show, like they're turning on a DJ, like they're turning on some sort of film that you are falling in love with or that you are getting addicted to. And addicted, meaning like I can't function without, like I can't focus without. In fact, I might have night terrors. The combination of this titillation, this hyper arousal, this eroticism, this enigmatic talk, you know what I'm talking about? The back and forth, the banter. Okay, we're using intellectual terms because I'm trying to help you to understand what you're dealing with. And to understand that the hyper arousal combined with a devaluation and a betrayal and pathological lying gives them the ability to seep into your neurochemistry and rearrange it according to their specifications. So think of it like this. You're giving all of your brain and all the neurochemicals that are designed to work harmoniously and in your best interest, you're basically giving that up and allowing another unknown entity to do whatever they want that will cause your ultimate destruction, your ultimate fall, your ultimate heartbreak. There aren't really even words to describe what can happen to you neurochemically if you stay on with this addiction. The addiction to these neurochemicals is what keeps people once again glued, just like a magnet and steel, attracted, irresistibly attracted, just very difficult to pull yourself away, and allowing your body to abuse your body through this neurochemical change that you are allowing to occur within you while you're in a quote-unquote relationship with this individual. It is not a relationship as relationships would think. If you think of a back and forth, this is agreement, hug, kiss, this is what we have. You're not getting what you think you have. You are getting derailed, even though it has the appearance and the illusion of this, flourishing, wild ride of a relationship. It's like a drug that you are getting on a street corner that's giving you this high, it's giving you this distraction, it's helping you become distracted and pulled away from your truth and your reality. So it's like an escapism. And eventually your regular neurochemistry is going to have a tough time coming back to that and then being able to relate to others on a healthy level. You are creating a new neural pathway, otherwise known as neuroplasticity, that is creating this hyper arousal. It etches its way into your brain just this way, same way like a drug like cocaine will stimulate the user into this heightened euphoric, high. I don't do that drug, but that's how the people describe it. And I know from scientific studies and study of the brain and addiction that this heightened experience creates a new neural pathway which cannot be satisfied by anything else other than the drug. In other words, this is how people become cocaine addicts, heroin addicts, oxycodone addicts, crack addicts. Okay, do you see what, and when you think of an addict, does that give you a positive image in your mind? Is that something that you have to ask yourself, is this something that you aspire to? Think of, what you know in the news and what it looks like when you see someone who is addicted and addict. Is that something that you aspire to? Is that something that that you crave within your identity to become an addict? Is this the person that you want to become? Even if it's just a little bit, I'm a little bit addicted. I know this to be the case. You have to understand that it's a serious situation. Okay, it's, this can ruin and scar people's lives. The addiction is etching its way through the creation of this neurochemistry within the target, which the psychopath has a deliberate and calculated manipulation. In other words, they're turning it on just like a light. In other words, here comes, insert your name, show. Let's just say your name is Jack, okay? And this female comes around and they know exactly what they need to do to get you where they want you, but it's asexual, meaning they're not into the sex. They're not into the relationship. They're into the demise. They're into the destruction. They're into the humiliation. They're into a subtle form of domination. And unfortunately, irreparable harm if you stay with them long enough. In other words, a female psychopath has no trouble saying in a cool, calm, collected manner, their life is ruined. This is what they go for. This is what they are about. This is where the wiring goes AWOL, goes AWired. They're not, unless you feel that you are so well equipped with the ability and the tools to handle your gaslighting, to handle being brainwashed, to handle meanings being rearranged within your brain circuitry, to have emotions and values stripped from you. Emotions and values stripped from you. Your perspective stripped from you. Oh, it's so much fun on Thursdays and Fridays, and then the weekend, and then the texts. Okay, now what happens when you find out and you discover that this is not a relationship? This is not a two-way street. This is not what you bargained for. This is not what you signed up. This is not what you thought. The partial relationship, the partial addiction, which means you feel that you can control an addiction to this person. You feel that, is it okay to have a relationship with a female psychopath on my terms? If it's a go if I say go, it's a no if I say no. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with a true female psychopath, you are giving up your liberty. You are giving up your control. You're giving up your terms. You're giving up your reality and your sound mind, values, and emotions. You're giving that all up for this person, quote unquote, on the street corner who you're handing over your neurochemistry to, and you're saying, tamper with it. This is a fun ride. Tamper it again. I can handle this. Doesn't this sound like denial? Doesn't this sound like what the addicts speak? I'm just going to have one more crazy night and then I'm going to get back to this. I'm just going to have one more bottle of Belvedere and then, I'm going to get it all straight on Monday. I'm just going to let it all go at this wedding, because I really need to live it up. what you need to understand is that underneath there's a reason why you're allowing yourself this harm into your life. It's usually a number of couple things. You're trying to escape from some emotional pain within you that is coming up to be challenged, either a childhood emotional pain or a current situation, relationship pain, whether it's with your family, your career, your studies, your hobbies, your free time, you don't know what to do. And then here comes, little Miss Psychopath coming along, and then all of a sudden it's a big distraction. You're on, you're oohing and ahhing and OMG, and this is what I've always, this is what I've always wanted. This, all those denials, okay? Those that are distracting you from a number, either some of those core things, but eventually, the more you stay addicted with this person, the deeper the hole is going to get that you are going to have to climb out of. And it's going to make it much more difficult that you show up to your future relationships with dirt on your face, a scowl, and, smelling of the rotten eggs that this person has created in your life. This is a metaphor. In other words, it's not that easy to come out of a relationship with someone who is female psychopathic. You can talk to the viewers here who have, had their workplaces attacked, where they haven't been able to focus. They haven't been, they've, betrayed their work protocol. They've violated societal norms. They've done things in public places that they should not be doing. They're messing with the law. They're messing with their own, this titillation, this arousal, this hyper arousal, which no one else does. So what happens when you discover that this person not only has you, but they've got a number of other people that they're doing this with, and it's not enjoyable for them? It's just a show. You need to understand the bottom line and the fact that these individuals are better than most. And I don't want to say superhuman, but there's something that is inhuman, not inhumane, that really most people can't even relate to. There's something cold, ice water cold, steel cold within them that you do not want to touch. You do not want to see. You do not want to feel. I mean, you don't want to, so you really don't. It's the longer you stay, the longer the addiction is, and the harder it's going to be to pry yourself away. So I don't feel that it's a good idea to give yourself a quote-unquote partial relationship that can be on your terms, because you give up your terms. You don't realize it while you're in it. It feels so good to be addicted. It feels so good to have them, that this is the priority. But you have to realize it's very difficult once you expose them on down the road. I don't know when this is going to be, what it takes for you to hit rock bottom. 6 months, a year, 3.5 years with this person. How long are you going to go? That you then have to come down to reality, and you have to deal with oftentimes a wake and a mess of where you're at in your life, and come up to go the right direction. It's never too late to make the right choices. It's never, each day you have the opportunity to start it and do the right thing, to take care of yourself, to say, okay, this is getting out of hand. Where's your bottom? Where's your rock bottom? How bad does it have to get for you? You have to ask yourself this and realize what you're dealing with. If you're one of those people who just, has no trouble being an addict, with the images and how you see yourself, think about how you see yourself. Do you want to be one of those people that are on the shows, Maury Povich, or what's the other guy? I can't think of it right now. Who has all the relationships with the people, and they're, the Larry King, not the Larry King show, but, somebody, a viewer will give me this. It's eluding my, my discussion right now in the U.S. The show where they have, all these people, fighting and throwing chairs, and, this is my woman, and she walks out on stage, and then they're fighting each other. Do you want that to be you? Is that the image that you want for yourself? Is that the identity that you aspire to? You know, is this going to be in your best interest? I challenge you to ask yourself these questions. And I'm just giving you some information to help guide you and to help you to understand really what addiction does to people. And then, of course, the denial that ensues. And then, you know, the aftermath, when you find, you know, that she says one thing and she's, you know, making it look like she was at home and ruffling up stuff and she wasn't there. Saying, you know, she, you know, slept in this bed, but she really didn't. You know, leaving the bed unfolded to make it look as if. I mean, these people, this is how they are. They just flow through a number of different relationships where they lie, cheat, steal, whatever it is that they want that gives them that, you know, when they're needing that dopamine. The psychopath, they are hypersensitive to dopamine, which is a reward chemical, and then neurochemistry. So and you're messing with your own serotonin, dopamine, your bonding, you know, neurochemistry, that you're basically, the way I look at it, you're putting all this in a test tube that you don't know what the formula is going to do to you, but you're allowing this change, internal change, to take you way, you know, into a mind-altered state. So this mind-altered state doesn't end well. Okay, you know, if you were to interview a female psychopath, unequivocally, like the comments that I receive, like the correspondences, do you want to interview me? They will unequivocally tell you, you know, if you stay with me too long, I am going to hurt you. I mean, this is what they do. They can admit, confess, etc. And so you have to ask yourself, to what degree, why do I need this mind-altering individual and experience? And if I do this, you know, how do I want this to really reflect on me? Give yourself a chance to reflect on yourself and see if you want this as part of your identity, as part of your I am. And if part of your identity is, I want a truly wonderful relationship where this person is honest and there's trust, where there is something there, realize that with the female psychopath, there is nothing there, okay? They don't experience people and relationships. They don't attach. They can, without a flinch or a flail, they can just be gone in a moment. And, you know, blocking your phone, erasing your phone. So it's not like you can call the terms and the shots with this. So I don't feel that neurochemically it's a good idea to rearrange your thought patterns, your perceptions, and have this mind-altering relationship that's for the bad. You can have a mind-altering relationship that's for the good, okay? That is truly motivating, uplifting, and inspiring and energizing. Not in this way that's addicted, because when you're an addicted, which is what happens, the psychopath unequivocally, without a doubt, knows that they're basically tweaking in addiction with each person. They know people, they know how to read people. This is what they do. So if for some reason you're wanting to give yourself up to this person, I would really ask yourself, why are you so, why are you not afraid of this? You know, why are you not afraid of being taken over and harmed? Why is this permittable to you? Why is this okay? Why would it be okay for you to engage with this, even though it's ultimately going to ruin your health? And we're speaking of your mental health, okay? Mental health. It can have irreparable damage if you're not careful, meaning people's lives get ruined, okay? This is a blanket statement that I want you to think about. And if you don't believe it, you know, and you want to experience that for yourself, I would unequivocally, you know, challenge you to ask your identity and how you want to see yourself. How do you know, what message do you want to send to life? That this is okay? And if so, why is this okay to you? Why are you aroused by this self-harm? Why are you aroused by, you know, the ability for someone to not care and not, you know, and put you in harm's way, and that this is okay? Why is it okay to be in a relationship and be addicted and to be taken over by an individual who unequivocally uses gaslighting and brainwashing akin to what you might see in a, you know, a torture camp? I don't know how else to describe that. Why would you willingly want to walk into that setting? And why aren't you afraid of this? You know, you've already seen enough. Why would you want to play with this? If it's mind altering that you need, you know, then you need to mind alter in the positive. In other words, if there's some other euphoric experience you want to have in true relationships, look at your identity and think what you truly aspire to. Okay? Because if you look at the identity of the people who have been ravaged with this, you know, they unequivocally, you know, have emotional hurts, emotional scars that take a lot of time and energy and focus to be able to work through and come out of. Okay, that's what we're doing here on the channel. But, you know, I don't feel that it's okay for you to allow yourself to have this partial relationship. Either you're in the addiction, or you've decided, you've made a conscious choice, this is really going to harm me, but you don't want to believe yourself. That's another form of denial, that you don't want to believe yourself, even though you're saying these little things. You're going to wish that you paid attention to that little voice that had that little 5-second blurb, I can't do this anymore. So even though you hear that voice, acknowledge and embrace it. It doesn't mean that you're weak. It doesn't mean that you're an imbecile. It doesn't mean that you know, you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're unmasculine because this person makes you feel like such a man. And there's a, you know, look at those particulars, especially when you hear those little statements, man, I shouldn't do this anymore. Man, this is really crazy. You know, be careful and ask yourself these very important, pressing questions. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that this video does help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out.